Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings to all. I was listening to one of Dr. and Sheikh Yasir Qadi's lectures on rules of sexual intimacy in Islam. He did a great job answering the questions using the references from Quran and Sunnah. Being a physician and a Muslimah, I thought I would talk about the ecosystems that lie within the male and female organ systems as well as our digestive organs, so you can make an informed decision regarding the type of sexual behavior you may want to be engaged in or the type of sexual practices you may want to acquire, rather than what you have been exposed to by the society, or before you get dragged onto the bandwagon of my body, my way, not knowing where you're headed. First and foremost, this talk has adult content and a descriptive language. So I ask for your forgiveness up front, and please protect whoever you need to protect. So by design, ecosystems are pre-programmed to sustain and maintain life within. A healthy human vagina harbors a specific type of microbial colony in abundance known as lactobacilli. Lactobacilli are pre-programmed to support reproductive health of the host. The presence of lactobacilli in abundance can lower the risk of hormonal imbalance, such as menstrual irregularities, infertility, miscarriages, as well as cancers of the reproductive organs. Presence of lactobacilli in abundance can also reduce the risk of bacterial vaginosis, fungal infections, sexually transmitted infections like gonorrhea and chlamydia, as well as hepatitis B and HIV. Lactobacilli also maintain an acidic pH of the ecosystem as well as produce mucus to protect the cell lining. The uterus or the womb is connected to vagina via cervix. Vagina is an elongated hollow muscular tube. By design, it's a receiving organ for the life-containing material. 95% of female reproductive organ system is securely placed within the bony pelvis inside the human body. On the other hand, 95% of male reproductive organ system is located outside of the body. By design, it is a delivery mechanism for the life-containing material. The thin tube-like male urethra is wrapped up in a double muscular wall, then securely placed inside a bigger tube. The ecosystem of male urethra also contains lactobacilli. At birth, male urethra is covered by an overlying skin known as foreskin. However, in circumcised males, the ecosystem of male urethra is further protected from the ecosystem of the overlying skin. Subhanallah, you have to marvel at the engineering of the male and female reproductive organs. All of this is to bring about a human into being. Now that you understand the ecosystems of male and female reproductive organs, let's talk about some of the sexual practices of a heterosexual couple. If the heterosexual couple engages in vaginal sex, then the ecosystem of the male and the female reproductive organs will be maintained between the couple. If the heterosexual couple engages in oral sex, now you're entering a different organ system and you're accessing a different ecosystem. Mouth has many different structures compared to vagina, that is a hollow muscular tube with only cervix situated at the end. The ecosystem of the mouth is very different than the ecosystem of the reproductive organs. The mouth has many diverse colonies and maintains a pH close to normal. According to scientific research, the composition of microbial colonies of the digestive organs is dependent on the food and beverage choices, including alcohol consumption throughout life. The cross-contamination or the colonization of the reproductive organs will now depend on the oral hygiene of the couple as well as the products used for oral hygiene and vaginal hygiene or douching. If the heterosexual couple engages in anal sex, then again, you're entering a different organ system and you're accessing a different ecosystem. The ecosystem of the rectum is very different than the ecosystem of the reproductive organs. Compared to male urethra, rectum has diverse microbial colonies and maintains a pH close to normal. Rectum is a pouch-like structure designed for temporary storage of poop. It is supported by two sphincters to hold tight. By design, it's an organ of expulsion and not of reception. The introduction of penis or other devices can also cause mechanical damage to the ecosystem. The cross-contamination or the colonization of the ecosystem will further depend on the products used rectally or orally for forced evacuation. Sounds familiar? Presence of a sperm in the colorectal area can also activate an immune response, since it will be deemed as an invader, thus causing chronic inflammation of the area. Whereas the swallowed sperm will be dealt with the most potent acid present in the stomach. Men who have sex with men can also suffer a greater cross-contamination and colonization of their ecosystems as a result of oroanal or anal sex. Homosexual female couples engaging in orovaginal sex, again, you're entering a different organ system and you're accessing a different ecosystem. The cross-contamination and the colonization of the ecosystems of the couple will depend on the oral hygiene of the couple and the vaginal hygiene of the couple and the products used for oral hygiene as well as for vaginal hygiene or douching. Introduction of the devices can cause mechanical damage to the ecosystem of the vagina. People with bisexual tendencies can fear a greater cross-contamination and colonization of their own ecosystems and can cause a similar cross-contamination or colonization of the ecosystems of people they're sexually engaged with. The transgender community is a topic for another day, since their bodies are being rid of their own ecosystems designed to support health. Let's look at some of the models of having more than one sexual partners or multiple sexual partners. Model number 1, you have a group of female ecosystems being inoculated by one male vector. The cross-contamination and the colonization of the ecosystems of the group will be determined by the sexual practices of the group and will be contained within the group due to a single male vector. In model number 2, you have a single female ecosystem being inoculated by multiple male vectors. The cross-contamination and the colonization of the single ecosystem will again depend on the type of sexual practices of the group. The overpopulation as a result of multiple inoculation by multiple vectors of this single ecosystem can cause damage to the ecosystem. Somebody please do the math for me. In model number 3, you have a group of females sexually interacting with a group of males. So the cross-contamination and the colonization of each ecosystem will be determined again by the type of sexual practices undertaken by the group. The overpopulation as a result of multiple inoculations by multiple vectors of each ecosystem can cause damage to all the ecosystems involved. What about condoms? As a good Samaritan, we know not to introduce plastic or rubber in any ecosystem. Why is the cross-contamination or colonization of each ecosystem of male and female reproductive organs or digestive organs problematic? With each cross-contamination and colonization, the ecosystem is transforming. These transformed ecosystems are damaging to our body. The ecosystems are pre-programmed to support the health of their organ systems. However, the transformed ecosystems are no longer abide by the same contract. For example, the lactobacilli maintain an acidic pH within the vagina in anticipation of life-containing material. However, their ability to produce acidic pH inside the mouth can jeopardize the ecosystem of the mouth. Likewise, the presence of normal pH producing diverse microbial colonies inside the male and female reproductive organs can cause damage to the ecosystem of the vagina as well as of the male urethra. Thereby can increase the risk of fungal infections, bacterial vaginosis, as well as sexually transmitted infections or STIs. By definition, all living organisms breathe, need nutrients to survive, make waste, need to rest, and they multiply. All of these functions of microbiomes take place inside our body, thus the byproducts of their metabolism or their metabolites impact our health. If you go to an environmentalist or a scientist, they can tell you all about the carbon imprints of human existence and of human behavior on our ecosystem. It's been scientifically proven that what we breathe out and what we sweat out and what we pee out and what we put out in terms of gas and poop affect the quality of air, water, and soil, thus impacting the ecosystem of the animal and the plant kingdoms. Likewise, what we breathe in and what we take in as nutrients affect the ecosystem of our body. The vaginal fluid and semen contain nutrients for their respective ecosystems inside the reproductive organs. The quality or the nutritional value of the bodily fluids like saliva, semen, and vaginal fluid depends on the nutritional status of the body. With every sexual encounter, the ecosystem of your own reproductive organ also receives nourishment from the other party or the parties involved. Again, the nutritional value or the quality of the bodily fluid exchanged during a sexual encounter will depend on the nutritional status of all the parties involved. So the external secretions of our body affect the life on earth, including livestock and our crops. On the other hand, the internal secretions of our body, like saliva, semen, or vaginal fluid, affect the most important crop of our body. That is the next generation human being. According to scientific research, the maternal ecosystem is passed on to the next generation at the time of vaginal birth. Hence, all of us are subject to carrying the ecosystem of our mothers. The fact of the matter is that our inner ecosystem is interconnected to our outer ecosystem via our body. If you go to any imam or a scholar, they'll tell you all about haram and halal with regards to your food choices as well as your sexual practices. Time to put the two and two together. So we know that the external secretions of our body will continue to impact the life of our outer ecosystem. Likewise, the internal secretions of our body will continue to impact the life of our inner ecosystem. The truth is that we have been placed on this earth as caretakers for both our inner and outer ecosystems.
وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً.
So my dear sisters and brothers, our food choices as well as our sexual practices have an impact on the ecosystem of our planet and on the ecosystem of our body. The take-home message is to exercise our free will in a way that is nourishing to both our inner and outer ecosystems. I am Dr. Nosheen Salima, an American board certified weight loss specialist with a special interest in microbiome and community health. You can choose to believe in science or you can choose to believe in religious traditions. My advice to you is to be consistent with your beliefs and align your actions with your beliefs, whether in science or religious traditions. It is our responsibility to share this awareness with our family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, as well as other fellow humans to promote health within our communities. I think we should join hands with those who are actively engaged in saving the ecosystem of the planet. This will be a great form of dawah. See you in the next video on how to decontaminate and nurture your inner and outer ecosystems for a healthy you.